got me like.
Right, so welcome to a new series. Sorry about the audio quality being absolutely horrendous, but my microphone wanted to die today. I know I've said we're going to start new series over and over and over again, but this time I actually mean it. Like, after me speaking, there was a genuine video of the new series. So basically for this series, I have collaborated with STRK. Every single week I will be uploading a video which is basically breaking down a certain genre and also focusing quite a lot on the sound design behind it. So yeah, also after the video, or after you've watched it or whatever, I would really appreciate it if you give me some feedback on this. Let me know what we did right and what we did wrong, and it just helps us develop this series some more. The main preset will also be available to download in the description. Also, check out STRK, his links will be down below. So, without further ado, enjoy the video.
Hey guys, it's STRK here. Today, for this first episode of this new series, I'm gonna be introducing you guys to Bass House. In this new series, what we're going to be basically doing is each week I'm going to be making an FOP and I'm going to be trying to focus on one genre and usually one sound and try to explain how it's made, and just so you guys can have an idea more on like sound design and stuff, because there's not a lot of sound design in this channel, so we wanted to kind of innovate in that area. We're not going to be leaving the FOP available and all the samples and stuff, because there's samples like here from like Kashmir and stuff that you have to pay, so we're not going to be releasing samples, and we won't be all the time releasing all the presets. We're going to be showing how it's made and what we used, and that's going to be basically it, so you have an idea on how to do it and you can try to remake it if you want. And just remember, what I'm going to be talking about is not how it has to be done, it's just an opinion, and that's how I do it and that's how I feel like it works. And yeah, first thing we're going to be talking about is the intro. What I did here in the intro was basically, I wanted it to be really choppy. So here we have kicks. Here we have just claps. I chopped some claps and reversed it. And then here we have this main sound. This one of the sounds I'm going to be talking about. When we're talking about the drop, I'm going to be talking about the sound and showing how I made it. This was made from scratch using free wavetables from Cymatics and Serum. So I'm going to be showing you how to do it so you can have it after. It sounds a lot like Jaws and stuff. So this is what it sounds like. Yeah, I wanted it to be really choppy, so there's just that part. And then here, for an extra fill, there's just scratching. And then I added this because there a lot of house songs out there have this kind of thing after like two measures. There's this thing. I'll just show you what it sounds like again. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it just adds an extra touch. And then I also have this. It kind of sounds like a scratch or tape stop. You can say whatever you want about it. Here we have a chopped scratch also from Kashmir, and then a WA production fill. I love this fill. Like, I use it all the time. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I just added it so it doesn't sound that empty over here. Yeah, there's also crashes in the background, so it seems like it doesn't seem so empty, because you need to keep that going for like house stuff. You can't just like leave the background with no noise. You need to keep something in the background going while the main elements of the intro or drop or whatever are happening. Here also, just so you know, there is a impact here, because like just to add an extra element that wasn't in the first part of the intro. So you really want that diversity going on, especially in bass house, because like it's just like how it works, in my opinion. And then here we get to this part, the last two measures of the first 8 bars of the intro. You get to this, and then there's a Kashmir fill. Yeah, then I added this effect right here. It's just to add an extra touch, and there's this. It's basically a tape stop, nothing really fancy. And then here, it's basically just the fill, the tape stop thing again, and to like the last bit of the WA fill I showed you earlier. And then here's is basically the same thing, but then there's a sub with a pitch drop, because that's basically what's happening like on the drop. If you don't have headphones on, you probably won't be able to hear it, but it doesn't matter. Here you have the sub drop. It's just a sub with the legato mode. It's like set to max, so it drops really slowly. And then I did this thing where it drops, and then at the end of the drop it just fades into like a sub ambience thing. Here, listen to it. So it goes from 1 octave to like the lower octave, which is they're both the key of the song, and then it goes to the lower octave and it stays and it sustains. So it sounds like it just sounds smooth. And then there's kicks on top just to add that extra groove. There's this pluck. It's like a really basic pluck I made in Serum. I won't even talk about it, but it's just there. So there's this kicks, and then when there's like 2 kicks here, I make the sub go 1 octave up, and then it goes 1 octave down again. So it kind of sounds like an 808, but it's not. And then here there's a kick, scratch, kick, and then claps come in, just because why not. And then there's a scratch, kick variation, and then there's this white noise going up, and then there's more like a kick and another scratch, and then there's this. I always use this. I don't know, it's just good. It always fits. Here there's the jaws sound again. And then here, this is a riser I made in Serum. It was supposed to be a Pac-Man sound. It sounds like Pac-Man, but then I changed a bunch of stuff on it, so it doesn't really sound like it anymore. But look. There's just some impacts here. Nothing really. And okay, so the plucks here, the volume of it is just slowly going down. Here I just turned on sidechain for like an impact. Here you have that sound again. And then here is like the basis from the drop that I'm going to be talking about. It sounds really complicated, but it's really simple to do this kind of bass. So here the drop basses are being filtered, just so like it gives you a preview of the drop. And there's this beat going on. The basses are here, and then the pitch is normal, and then it starts going up, which kind of gives like more of the extra touch, and it just makes everything sound better. And then here at the drop, there's the scratching sounds again from Kashmir, and the bass being filtered in. Here's that fill again. Try to keep your sounds, like your fills, the same. Don't try to like use 15 different fills, like different fills in the intro and then different like fills in the drop. It's just gonna sound like like a different song. So here there's just the claps from the beginning, and then I chopped up a loop from WA Production, and then here there's the sub. Here's like just the kicks. I try to like chop it up a little bit here. Yeah, just to like add a little more groove. And then here I'm gonna be talking about the sounds now. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you how I did it. It's actually pretty simple. It's not lots of like modulations in the oscillators. It's more about like the effects section. Like without the section, the sound, it wouldn't sound like what it sounds like right now. So yeah, I'll turn these off and then I'll show it to you. That's like, it sounds like Jaws, and then you turn it like this. There's just like nothing. So there's really not a lot going on. So there's a square wave. I did some frequency modulation. This is not the main thing. Like what makes the sound like what it is more of the like effects and the filter. Listen to it without the filter. Without the filter, it just sounds like a dubstep bass, but then when you put on the filter, it sounds like Jaws and like bass house and all that. So here there's just a normal growl shape in the LFO. So basically what this is doing, it's modulating. So the FM, I turned it up, and this is making it go down a little bit and then up, and the volume goes up and down here. For this table, since it's sending information out to the square wave, the volume is gonna stay in 0, and I'm bending the table out for both sides, so like the bend plus and minus. The sub, the volume is going up and down just to match up with the level here. Same with the filter, and that's basically all it is. It's like pretty simple. Here there's like just stuff from the original patch. It's like because I made the preset and I like did some weird stuff. That doesn't matter. That's like, that doesn't affect anything. So yeah. So there's this like the wave shape where I distorted it like a lot, and then here it just took off a little bit of the bass and boosted the highs. And then here we go for our main sounds. It's like so simple. You'll actually be kind of surprised. So all it is just like basses that you use in like progressive house tracks, and like that's all. Listen to this. This bass, without the distortion, this is all it is. This bass is like, it sounds exactly the same as a bass made in Silent 1 by Blair. It's one of like in one of his packs. You can go check it out. Like you can basically make a bass house drop that sounds like that using Silent. You don't need Serum. You don't need anything. You just need these type of basses, and then a shit ton of distortion. That's all I need. I made this one. I'm not gonna talk about it. It's just basically like I just chose 2 random wavetables I found in my wavetable folder, and then I just like moved them around a little bit, and that's all. Like that's how I make these type of sounds, at least. And then there's this bass right here. This like the main bass of the drop. Again, 2 random wavetables. It's all. And I'm not using this LFO. I don't even know. Like this was actually a growl that I made, but I turned off the LFO. Like the LFO is not being used, so it's just like constant. And then when you put all of this together, it should sound like this. Okay, so this sound right here is a preset from Cymatic, so I'm not going to talk about it. Here is back to that jaw sound, and then here is just the scratch sound again, and then here's the Cymatic thing again. This is just a fill by Cashmere. And what's happening here is basically most of the drop is the drop only works because of pitch modulation. So like, listen to it without anything. It just sounds bad. So like, if you add this is what makes everything sound like what it's supposed to sound like. So yeah, I try to like chop it up a little bit to add a little bit more groove, and it worked. So yeah, that's like all basically the sounds I want to talk about. There is this thing that I made that like it just sounds, I felt like it sounded nice here. It's just a high pass going up and then up more, and then here's just the LFO rate, so it's like medium rate, and then it goes fast, and then medium, and then fast, and slowly go back to medium. And then here's just the fade out that I made, and that's all it is, legit. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the mastering section of this track. So what I have here is an isotope ozone, and what it's basically doing, it's just like, I created this preset where it just boosts on the most, like the frequencies that are like used most in bass house, and like it just makes the track sound a lot better. So listen to this without the mastering plugin, and then with it. So that's without it, and this is with it. It just helps a lot, but then it really takes up a lot of your CPU, so I'm not going to keep it on. And then something that I always do, I don't know why I don't have it here, it's just this. I take a little bit of, I just do a frequency cut, just to, like, when you're blasting the shit on speakers, it doesn't sound like distorted or anything. Like, the quality might go down a bit, but it's like way better. Just helps, because like when it's quiet you won't notice the difference, but when it's really loud and you don't have a frequency cut, especially for like treble, your ears will sound like, it will just crackle all over your ears, and like it won't feel nice, trust me. So yeah, this is it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this. Remember, next week there's gonna be a new episode. We're working on a new sound that we're gonna talk about, and yeah, that's it. Peace.
Jack it up.